Welcome to today's episode of the Data Talk with Doers. Today we have a very special guest, Mohammad Arshad. He is a business problem solver with 17 plus years of industry experience in retail, digital, customer e-commerce, talent and HR, marketing, real estate, and technology domain. A leader and enabler of applied analytics, principal data and scientist, artificial intelligence and deep learning for real business problems. He is also known to be an effective manager, mentor, trainer, problem solver, and a proactive contributor to a strong 36K followers on LinkedIn. Notably, he is also an entrepreneur and a co-founder at Decoding Data Science, where he empowers individuals and businesses with data skills. With that being said, let me welcome our guest. Welcome, Mohammad Arshad. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Sure. So, let me start with your background. Can you tell us a little bit of your background and how did you first get interested in this chosen field?
So my background is basically I started in you can say back in 2005 in the storage and networking space, and my interest with data you can say came uh, in this area was you can say like more of a accident per se because I was doing little bit of web designing earlier on in my college days. So I had some experience of web analytics, and what actually happened is when I worked in HP, my first company, there was a project for this particular area wherein they required some experience or some person who knows little bit about web page, web designing, or so in there I started working and I got you can say uh, first time I got to see web analytics data, that is omnichannel data and all those things, and I learned. So I, to be honest, my background is electrical and electronics, but I had a passion of doing web designing, and from there, accidentally, I got access to get to this team wherein there was some web analytics, data analytics, and from there on, I started spending time in this data, and then from there, my interest grew. So all my learnings you can say has happened on the ground while doing the work, and nothing, no professional degree or education I have gone through, and that is how I have learned everything you can say, and whatever I am right now is by working on projects and working on you can say real life problems.
Oh, okay, that's great to hear. Um, have there been any major challenges or setback when you started or in your career, if you have faced any?
So setback in the sense there, as you know, it's a journey, right? When I started my career, at that time luckily there was not so much competition, right? There was, like right now there is so much competition in this space. To be honest, setbacks is their way of looking at things. I took everything as a learning. So as I keep telling to my to people who I meet, to my mentees, that whatever you do, whatever you are, take it all as a learning. And then see, the corporate things don't happen according to you. There are always some politics and all those things that are there, and it is up to a human being, up to a person to see. So personally, there were setbacks. To be honest, there were times where I did not get good, you can say, promotion or hike, but it's not a major setback because my for me the learning what I had passion for that continued. Right, if I did not get opportunity in my work, then I learned on myself. I did some projects on myself. So that attitude was there. There were a lot of times when I was really down with all these things, but I accepted it that these things will happen. You don't. So it's basically more. If I don't want to go to the philosophy side, but mainly my thinking was whatever I have control for, I will be worried about that. Things that are not in my control, like so I got really our salaries got cut in the recession, right? 2007, 2008. Luckily, our job will not go that time, but our my promotion was due in 2007, which got delayed, and also we had a pay cut, and all those things were there. So, but we were personally, I was happy. At least I have a job. At least I have a place where I can apply my learning. So that is what I try to always see the positive side of things, and setbacks. I take setbacks as a learning and to improve myself and become a better person.
Oh, okay, that is great to hear, Arshad. So, in those days, back in those days, how did you stay updated? Because now we have plenty of resources in the internet. So, on during those days, how were you getting updated with data, lessons or anything?
That is one thing I'm very lucky about. So there was I again it's like a controversial topic, but there were not so many you can say influencers that time, and I did not get so much distracted by a lot of things that people are now getting distracted. So I studied everything you can say on the job, and if I had any doubts, there were two main sources. One was my seniors,
Okay.
and second was the so I was in luckily I was in big companies like HP, Accenture. So we
Okay.
had a very good you can say learning management system. So the training documents, the recordings were there, very high quality, and which is basically industry standards. So I studied from there. So if I was getting some problems in a particular area, and then I used to go and see that area. So it was mainly learning by doing. So I did not I to be as I told you earlier, I did not go through any educational system or any certification. I mainly learned everything on the job when I was doing a particular project. So when I was getting stuck, and I learned as I grew in my career, that I learned the importance of, you can say, some of the important things that I have learned, which I still carry on, is after doing anything, do a proper quality check of whatever you're running and whatever you're doing, because sometimes you miss small things which causes production error later on. So those things were there, and proper documentation that is there.
Mm.
You can say efficient process management, or you can say project management or file management, making sure that what you are doing is tracked properly, you are giving proper KT, or you're doing having some records. So those things or skills what we learned is still staying with us right now. As you also know, Nima, that technology has changed, a
Yeah.
lot of things have changed, but the underlying way of working is the same, right? And you become better at it as you keep on working.
Right.
How you are doing your work, how you are processing everything, how you are having a proper you can say knowledge management system and process KB type. We call it knowledge base. Every
Mm.
new thing that we discovered, we used to put it in proper. So those are the practices that are really I learned. So in big company, that is one thing that you learn a lot: process management, and all those things. And technology, to be honest, I learned everything while I was doing the work, because see, when you know what you have to do exactly under the process guidelines, then you can research about that in on these portals, or ask guidance. But see, asking guidance is also a very, you can say, a skill. You
Yeah.
need to ask the right questions, because a
Right.
person that your senior or someone will not just help you directly. Right? You have to tell him that you have done X, Y, Z,
Mm.
and you're getting stuck at this step. And I tried these things. You tell me what is the best option. So you should go with doing your homework to that person,
Mm.
and then he may guide you. If you just tell that, sir, it's not happening, it's not running. So
Mm.
that is the way. So many people, my juniors, when they ask me such questions, which is not that clear, right? So I just tell them that at least you go and do your homework first, and then come
Mm.
to me, then I may help you. So to answer your question, I mainly learned from, kept myself updated, updated in the sense that not much of future things, because for me, making sure that the work I'm doing is fine. So I did not focus much on the future part. I was, because for me, even the new technology that was new, right? For me, when I started working on SaaS was a completely new platform for me. So for me, it was very new. and I was making myself comfortable in SAS itself. I never went out of the way. I started studying R or Python or something. I wanted whatever requirement was there. I focused on that, and I focused on becoming good in that particular thing. And then once the project, because it was more on learning wise, and when I got free time later on, then maybe I was here mainly you can say online was not much, to be honest. It was mainly through colleagues. At that time, there was no dependency much on online, because online there was this particular term that we are also telling, right? Data science, these things were not known that time. When I started working, it was mainly called as statistical analyst.
Oh,
Statistical analyst was the correct word that was there, and very less materials and were available online to help us as well.
okay. Oh, okay, okay. That is great information to know, Arshad. So starting with your LinkedIn journey, so you have a massive follower of 36K, and so what was it that brought you into LinkedIn? Because was it sole purpose was your job search, or you want to share anything to the community? So what was your main goal?
So yeah, for LinkedIn, I started back in you can say August 2020. That time I had an account early on, but I was not at all active. I was really busy in my work and everything. But as I was telling, my journey in Accenture, how I started doing this. So mainly it comes from my mentorship that have been doing and helping people. So it comes back from then. So I was doing a lot of helping a lot of people uh, in Accenture. When I was hiring for people, what was happening that I could find a knowledge gap
Okay.
in people who are coming, in what they know and what is the actual work that is required in the company. So that problem was there. So I was helping people in Accenture also. I did a lot of trainings for people to make them, you can say, to give them some skills that is required for the job, and this particular thing helped them also in delivering for the client. And now on the side, I used to also help other people who are trying to get into the industry, who have some theoretical knowledge, but they don't have the skills to convert an interview or to put in their resume. So from this particular angle, I started helping people on LinkedIn. And so one of my colleagues, one of my friends suggested me that why don't you start writing about this on LinkedIn? This may help you reach more people. So you are the what you're trying doing right now, it may reach more people who are in need of this. So that's how I started writing about my learnings. And also, as you know, it's a good for me also to summarize what I know. Maybe the topics that I am talking about, I can summarize it and share it in a very simple manner.
Mhm.
And my main thing was what I was seeing at that back then, coming from experience, right? That what institutes are teaching you and
Mhm.
what is the actual skill that is required is missing. So people are teaching you a lot of AI and lot of high level things, but the basic and skills were really missing from the data professionals, because as you also know how important is for us to give importance to the structure of the data that is underlying our any project, understanding the data, spending some good quality of time in the data, then only you can talk about AI and all those big things. So people used to tell that they know the deep learning and all those things, but when I ask them simple questions about EDAs and hypothesis testing and all those things, they were not able to answer. So those are the things that I try to talk about. And whenever you see in my LinkedIn also, I don't talk about lot of high level topics. I
Mhm.
still focus on the basics, and I believe and I tell people that you need to make your basics strong first and learn uh, how to learn. Learn how to learn means you should know the ways to learn. And I talk about this a lot in my sessions as well, in my webinars as well, that when you are learning something, spend time and learn properly. Like the basic programming languages, the one of the languages that are is right now very much used is Python, right? Python and SQL. These are the two computer languages that you have to know in this if you want to stay in this field. So
Yeah.
try to learn that nicely. Try to write the code yourself. Don't copy paste the code and just build someone else's solution and run it. Try to do something on your own. which is going to help you understand the programming language logic that is behind. So these are the things I try to tell people, which is going to help them in growing their career in data science field. So this is my journey. I kept giving back, talking about my learnings, and it's slowly. And one thing that I had made one, you can say I have done a lot of courses, to be honest, on LinkedIn at that time, because when I started LinkedIn, there was not so many. It was not so, you can say, uh, famous or so used
Mm,
platform at that time in
mm,
2020. It was just coming up. So, but I went through some programs like NAS Academy, Web of Sciency. I went through their programs and understood the secret, or the secret, or the, you can say, the you can say the system. It is not a secret, it is a system that you have to do. The system is
okay,
very simple, that you need to give content, give
right,
value,
okay.
and at a daily basis. And
Oh,
sometimes your reach may be good, sometimes it may be bad, but at least try to give value to
mm,
people. And that only is what I continue. And I always talk about one specific uh, type of topics, right? Anything related to data science, anything related to AI, jobs, careers. I only focus on that, and anything related to that field. And my whatever is my one thing that I have kept going since the last 1.5 years is, or almost 2 years is, keep posting regularly. So I started in August 2020, but again I did for few months, and again I got really busy in my job, and my last company that was there, they were not happy for me to post on LinkedIn, so I did not post for around a year. So
oh,
from 2021 to that time, so that is also one problem in some of the companies that are there, that they are not happy for you to post, uh, and they discourage you. So those are some problems that are there. But if your employer is okay, if you're working and if your employer is okay for you to post, then you should do it on a regular basis. And that is what I suggest. And that was what my journey basically. So in a
oh.
nutshell, if I can summarize it.
Sure, sir. That is quite helpful, Arshad, to know your journey. And also, my next question was basically, what tips would you give in terms of expanding your network? And you have already mentioned what are the steps that we need to follow, or anybody who needs to provide or gain a community or over LinkedIn. So, any tips that you would like to share, creating engaging content that resonates with the audience?
So you said tips to create an engaging content.
Yeah.
So engaging content, see, the thing is, this is a tough question to ask, and this will come by practice. You
Uh-huh.
have to see. The thing is, you need to, how I will tell you, Nima, how I have made the system, and I tell my mentees who I work with is that creating LinkedIn posts or whatever article should be an output of whatever you are doing,
Okay.
because many of the people who are learning something new, maybe, see, everyone may not learn something new every day, but
Mm,
at least try, because of here I'm talking about two people. One is like people who are working and who are just stable, and they are just using LinkedIn just for increasing their reach. But I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the second type of people who want to use, who have a goal on LinkedIn. So that is very important for people who are really serious about LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is a platform in which you need to be serious.
right.
Okay, so that is my one thing that I will tell. So the first thing is the goal. That is very important. So some people, many people who I talk to, they say, uh, I'm not. I just want to be on LinkedIn just to be visible, just so that. But they don't have any final goal,
Mm,
right? So first of all, if you are really serious about LinkedIn, you need to have a final goal that is there. So for me, there is a final goal is, the final goal for me is reach more people are seeing my content, and more people are, uh, from my content they are going to my website. So
right.
that is one main metrics for me. I want more, my, for me reach is important. and whatever I content I'm giving may help someone, and someone may see that content and registers for my webinar or register for my see my website, see my academy. So that is one thing that is mainly right now, that is my focus. For that I have to post regularly. Similarly for so you have to post regularly. Now regarding the engaging part, so you need to first of all try to give some value about what you have learned, maybe some short tips that are there in the post that you have done. Maybe you have explored one new type of algorithm, or you explored a new type of code. It may be, see, the thing now, many people say, sir, this is very basic, like like difference between lock and iLock, it is very basic. So it's very basic for you, but it may not be basic for other people, right? So many people don't even know what is lock and iLock. So don't, whatever, just try to have in mind something that you are learning that day, because these are for people who are trying to share their learning. If you have come across that, or people in their work also, for people who are working, it becomes little slightly tough because their work is little bit not that interesting compared to people who are learning or people who are in startups, which is very monotonous. But something you have to find out extra. Maybe there's something that you're doing on the side, or some theoretical topic that you are writing about. Talk about that, and that is the only way. So you have to have a, so my, if I summarize it, first you need to have a plan. Why are you doing this? Second, you need to make a calendar. So many people, they say they are very busy every day, they can't post, but in the weekends when you are free, make a calendar. So generally, for me, I make a calendar for a week, that I need to post these things, and then I may prepare, I may not prepare. Sometimes if I'm very busy and I'm not able to post that particular new topic, then I will repost an old content that did well. I will just take that content, change a little bit text, and I will put it if I don't have time. But I have at least in my mind that there are some 7 new topics that I have to write, think about, and write about. And then if I don't write about that one particular topic, I'll shift it to the next month, next week calendar. That is how I do it, and it is hard work. So that, to be honest, it is not an easy one. It is a hard work, and now I have learned on the way that there are some times that people will not. You will get negative trolls as well, right? So if you write something that people don't agree with. So in my post, generally, I always tell that this is my thoughts. I may be correct, I may be wrong. This is my thought, this is my LinkedIn, and this is my thoughts. It may be correct, it may not be. I am not claiming that this is 100% correct. No one can be 100% correct, right? So this is my thought. I may say for me, random forest is the best algorithm. For you, it may not be, right? But there were a lot of people. So to be honest, why I'm telling this, because people who are starting in, and they will be worried about the trolls that are there, right? And I generally learn to ignore the trolls. As I told you, this is a learning that comes with experience, right? Some things that you cannot learn, this comes from experience. So if I was very affected earlier on with trolls, and it demotivated me by negative comments and all those things. And I tell thanks for your opinion. I just tell like that, and I continue my work. And I'm not so things. Even if you see my content, maybe it is a tape recorder. I keep talking about the same thing in a different angle, but I will keep talking because that is what I do. That is what is my message, and it is my LinkedIn post. If you're not liking it, you can always unfollow, or you can always go back, right? But if you are, but I want, my message is very clear, and my principles are very clear, which I try to push. And I know, and I'm also talking with some experience, right? I know what are the things that are important, and people should know about it. So that is what I think, and my principles. And it has been a journey. You have to be consistent. So that is one thing takeaway I have to give you. Plan your post accordingly. Be so one more tip if I can give you is that you asked, right, for getting more, you can say, engagement, is also try to make a, whenever you have time, go to few of the people who are posting regularly, and give a valuable comment on their post. Suppose I have put a post on some particular topic, and I also ask for engagement. I ask it, what do you agree with? Like today only I made a post about KNN and K means. Are they the same? What is the difference? So if you want to be you can say visible.
Mm.
So what generally you can do is like I have around 37,000 followers. So in my post, if you write a comment, one thing is that I will notice you. Second
Right.
thing is that your profile will get a more, you can say, eyeballs. And for starting, that is a very good way to start getting little bit more followers, which I also used to do it. And whenever I used to get time, I used to. But if you are serious about it, try to do it regularly. Just
Right.
try to read the comments, read the article, and try to give a. You can, but don't write agree just two lines.
Mm.
Agree, thanks for sharing, and all those things. Try to write a value. If you read it and understand what he's trying to tell, so that may also give you two things. It will help you understand how people are writing, and also to give you some eyeball.
So, okay, yes, 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 Arshad. So that is really helpful, as well as I've seen that has helped me also, creating engaging content. If you comment on others, giving a valuable comment on other posts, it's actually giving me value also. So that I can really understand that. And with respect to job search and career advancement, how far is LinkedIn? How do you think like a starter in LinkedIn can leverage LinkedIn in their job search and career advancement?
So, see, for job search, yeah. So now coming to job search, LinkedIn may help a lot because
Mm.
as you have like you have some followers and you're writing content also, you have a good visibility. So what I suggest, like for people who are doing job search, so one of my tips or one of my major process that I tell my mentees who are with me is in your area. So this is the way I work with people. I whoever I admit in my academy is I ask them to fill up a survey in which I need a proper target. Like what are their main goals? So I've talked about this in a lot of my webinars. With people without target, you will not learn anything and you'll not go anywhere. You need to have a goal. You need to have a target. So people, I tell them like wherever you are, right? Suppose I'm in Bangalore right now. That
Okay.
is feasible. The things that are most feasible. Select 10 job descriptions or 10 companies or 10 JDs that you would like to apply for. Now, I go very specific to job description because I want you to understand which type of jobs you want to apply to. This can be for little bit experienced people also and for freshers also because freshers also I want to know, tell them that these are the type of jobs you need to apply, these are the type of companies you want to apply for. And see that when they have the list of this, so what I suggest them is there are two things. One is to learn the basics and do all those things. That is one part of your equation. Second is when you are learning, try to also keep posting on LinkedIn and send a personalized invite. Now, when I say personalized invite, whenever you send an invite to people, I always tell them that don't just send an invite. You
Mm.
need to put a note because I have right now 3,000 plus invitations without, and most of them are without any notes. And I don't accept them immediately for now. Before I used to ignore them completely, but now I'm not ignoring them because some of them may be my customers as well, right? Because right now I'm not I am this is my job as well, right? So right now what I'm doing is I'm sending them a message back telling them politely what is your motivation to connect with me. Do you have any immediate work with me or you have just connected because you like my content? So that is what I try to ask them, and so that's why you need to put a proper, because when you are adding recruiters, you need to tell that I am a data science professional and I really like this company or something you have to give, or I really like to work in the future for HP or something like that. Or try to get this more and more. Try to add more and more people from that company who are in a little bit junior or senior role. That
Mm.
is how you do. And send a personalized note that I am interested in, or if you have a project, if already have done a project, are you at that stage? If you have a project, you can give them their project link. So, hey, I have been working on this project. This is the link of my project. Please, I would love your feedback on this. So
Mm.
this is a slow process, but try to keep adding people with a proper personalized note and try to build. And what happens now when you are applying for a job? Like suppose you have a you want to apply in Accenture, uh, if you know these people on LinkedIn, you can, the best option to apply, you also know, is through referral,
Yeah.
because if you apply just directly on a platform, sorry, you will not be able to get access to that. So try to get a referral. So this helps you getting a referral. And most of the time, if you are a good profile and are very active on LinkedIn, recruiters will themselves notice you and message you that, hey, this is an opening. So
Mm.
it really helps. To be honest, it really helps if you have the, because to be honest, LinkedIn is one of the biggest sources of hiring right now, other than the other platforms that are there. Recruiters are directly reaching out and searching for people who are there. And before this, there is one more thing that you also know is profile optimization, using the right keywords in your profile. So because when a recruiter is searching like data analyst in Bangalore, so
Mm.
you may need to mention that data analyst. If you're looking for data analyst type of job, you need to mention data analyst at least 3 to 4 times in your profile, so that when you are searched, you come on the top at least 10, 20 people. So those
Yeah.
are some of the skills that you need to incorporate. But it really helps. If I tell you, it helps compared to just applying on Naukri or the other platforms.
Okay, okay. Yes, yes, Arsha, that is really helpful. So now let's go into career tips because I've seen your LinkedIn post as well as your website on how you are giving courses and trying to upskill all the new joinees or the people who are kind of uh, doing the career change to data science field. So, what are the most in demand skill and qualification you think and data professionals or the aspiring data scientist or analyst need to develop?
Mhm. So, see, so what my philosophy and my what I'm doing right now is, after talking to more than 1,000 people and the industry experts as well, is they want people. The word that they say, they want people who are trainable. This is the
Uh,
word that they say. So now coming to trainable, uh, when I talk to people, as I was telling you earlier, I will just give you because I have done doing this for 6 to 7 years,
mm,
and I have seen what are the main things that are required and what are the main challenges for a particular student. See, nowadays internet, there is a lot of information that is available. Right? People know everything. People know that we need to know Python, you need to know SQL, you need to know one dashboard, you need to know uh, Excel, you need to know statistics and math. Those things people know, that it is a very general thing, but people don't know in that what to master. What
uh,
are the important things in these things, which because see, nowadays everyone, as you also know, this is one example I keep giving you. This is, I'm talking to the people who have access to internet and all those things, right? Most these people know, they think that they know
okay.
everything, right? You also, this is, I can give you an example that nowadays people are also like a self-proclaimed doctor. So the doctors have this lot of problem that whenever a patient comes to them, they do their own Google about everything and they come and tell the doctor, doctor, I have this disease. This
Yeah.
is a problem also in data science, right? People come to me, they say, sir, I know everything in data analytics, machine learning, AI, but I'm not getting job. They tell this to me, then I ask them 2, 3 questions, they're not able to answer.
Uh,
So that is the thing, that now coming back to, from their perception that they know things, that they have seen some YouTube videos, coming back to what is really important. So what I have done is, I have kept designed a course. So the course has only the important topics that are there, which you need to master. I tell, like suppose for example, I tell, 20 things in SQL. You know 20 things in SQL, very good, but you need to master 10 things. You
mm,
need to master 10. You don't need to, you may know 20, that is fine, but you need to master 20, 10. At least you should be able to tell any questions out of that 10 things very well. Similarly for the other topics. As you know, SQL, Python, these things are very broad. But what you have to know, what you have to master is important. If you, because that is the basics. If you are not able to tell the basics properly in an interview, or to showcase in your project or assessment, then what will you learn the intermediate things, right? So that's why I say, because they don't want people who know everything.
Mm.
They want people who are trainable, who have that attitude that they can learn things. But to learn also, you need to know the basics very well. So one thing is that you have to know. The second thing is applying all the knowledges that you have
Okay.
in a project,
Right.
right? That because at the end of the day, project is very important, and this is the problem that I see with many people, that they work on very basic Kaggle data set project, which is already a summarized data,
Mm.
right? They just do some simple EDA, 2 3 lines of code, and they tell that it is a project. That is not a project. Project is something that you do from the scratch. You are getting the data from somewhere. You are appending 2 or 3 data sources. You are doing a lot of groundwork, and then you are doing some project which is very unique in your resume, in your project. So this is what I tell people, and I advocate them. Yeah, Titanic data set is not a project. It is just for your learning. You can use it. Kaggle data set is just for a learning. You can use it to practice a project, but it is not a real project. Real in the sense you need to do something that is little unique. You may. So that is one thing I advocate, and I tell everyone who is working under me or with me, do a project and put it as an internship.
Oh.
Maybe in any company that you can do it, that is nice. That is because why doing a project on your own and doing a project with a mentor is very much different, because he will be able to guide you properly, and he will give you an end product that is at least sellable to the
Mm.
interviewer, or to can be shown in a resume. So these are the things, if you follow, right, there is a lot of chances for you to get hired, because you will have basic knowledge. Second, you will put that in your good project, and you can show that in your LinkedIn or your resume, and the chances of you getting called, and people who in the interview, they are going to talk to you about that project in detail. So if a interview is for half an hour, 20 minutes will be going in that. If the project is interesting, it will be going in asking, how did you do this, why did you do this, what. So and if a person has done it very well, he will be able to answer it in a very, you can say, professional manner. And this is what we are also looking for in a person, in a uh, interview, in a candidate.
Yeah. Yes, yes, true, very true, Arshad. So now that you said what we have, like a search or a job seeker has to do, what are the common mistakes that the data job seekers make during their job search, and how can they avoid?
So the common mistake, first of all, is I tell you that the resume is not at all
Mm-hmm.
properly written, right? The resume is
Mm-hmm.
not properly written. So even if the resume that it comes, the project, if that is mentioned, is not at all a good project, the way they have written is not good. So that is the first part. They are not at all, you can say, when they are, our main question that people say that in a resume, it should show that this person at least knows little bit of, understands little bit of analytics or data, which is not. You see a resume, you will see a project which is not at all good. So that is the only first part, that 90% of the resumes, they just get just they are put on the side, right? They are not shortlisted. So this is the major thing that I feel. Interview is second thing. The
Okay.
majority of the problem comes in getting a call,
Yeah.
right? After you get a call, then it is at least you have an opportunity to showcase your knowledge. But the problem is people are not getting calls, because that is what people also tell me, right? They my hiring managers and my colleagues and my counterpart, they say that they give one job, they get 100 resumes, but
Mm.
out of that only 2 or 3 resumes are good enough. Rest 98 that they see is just not at all worth it, because of the way they have written, the project they have written. So that is one of the major part that I feel, that they need some professionalism and some good project to put in, so to have to be considered for that role. And I also tell, for every job role that you are applying, please customize your resume accordingly. And nowadays people are not doing that. They are just using a general resume and just pushing it daily on the same job, for any job. And
Okay.
general resume will not work. You need to be
Oh.
very specific. So these are mainly, I feel, that is the problem. Then because if you reach an interview stage and you are little bit good, right? You
Mm.
show little bit skills that you can learn. You have a good attitude. Then there are a lot of chances, because there is a lot of market gap available. Market and the opportunities. There is a big, huge gap that is there, right?
Oh, okay, okay. Okay, that makes sense, Arshad. Now that we are going through a very competitive, like data science, data career is like very competitive right now. So how can one really stand out from the group of people?
So the easiest solution, as I told you earlier on, is to be active on LinkedIn, to talk about your project and do a good project. That is the only way you can. That's why I really stress about searching a very good project and doing and working on it and showing it on your resume, because it's a highly competitive market. But to be honest, and as I was telling you, 80%, 70 or to 80% of the resumes, they don't have if any good project or any good experience, right? So my mentees that I have trained, and I tell them, so who are there for me for 1 year or something, and who are some of them are students, right? So I tell them, some of the mentees who are lucky enough, they are patient because they are students. They have been, they know me for 1.5 years or 1 year, and until they pass their uh, college, so they have time. So they have done multiple internships and projects, and there, those are the people that you need to think about competing with. Try so you need to start doing internships, trying to get projects and trying to put in the resume. And these type of resumes are very rare to see like that. Yeah, I can say only 10% of the resumes will at least have an internship or a project that is related to data, if they're applying for fresh roles. Even for senior roles, senior roles I'm not talking about, because that is a completely different thing. For that, it is they have to tailor make their profile accordingly. But for mostly for entry level roles I'm talking.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yes. So, what could be any valuable tips, Arshad, that in terms of preparing a coding interview? Because many people who come into data are not computer science background. There are several people take several non CS background or also coming into data science industry, right? So, any tips on preparing the coding interview, like for example, Python, SQL?
Hmm. So this thing I keep telling in my webinars,
Mm.
for learning coding, as I was telling earlier on, you need to work hard and you need to start typing in the code. Don't copy paste the code. If you are writing a code, do it. Try to type it yourself. Try to write the logic yourself, and that is how you will become better. There is no short answer to become good in coding. The only way is try in the initial period. Don't try to do a lot of copy paste. The problem is when you do copy paste of a code from Google or Chat GPT, you are not understanding what is written. So when you write a Python code with yourself, type it yourself, then you will remember that is a very valuable tip I give. And there is a lot of science behind that, which I don't want to talk right now. But there are webinars where I have talked about this. Don't initial period, don't use. I also don't use much. Uh, I I type it myself, or I have my own handy code that I have created for some of the topics, and I use that. So that is makes me remember things, and it makes me make the logic properly. So that is what I will suggest you to do. Practice is the key, and try to type yourself, and don't just copy paste from internet. Try to think and write the code yourself. And this is a, I think it's a journey. There is no solution to this. You will become every day. Try to do some practice questions and try to become better. There is no other solution as such. It's not a short. You can say shortcut. You have to go the long way if you have to remember things. And the practice is what I tell people. And uh, the second thing is, most of you, if you are not made a handy code, try to make a handy code for all the Python syntaxes and Google SQL syntaxes that you are going to use. And that is a very good practice which is going to be with you for a long time.
Arshad. And finally, could you like talk about your decoding data science and your the community the services that you provide, right? So can you elaborate on that so that people who view this can know where to reach you and what they can get out of you and how, I mean, it is kind of a sharing is better, right? So could you elaborate on your company?
So my company is basically more of decoding data science. Started, as I told you, as a project to help people to get into data science.
Yeah.
So my main purpose and my main model that I am planning to do is create an ecosystem with mainly three pillars. One is for companies who I work with for small projects, for the data projects, companies and startups and SMBs, small companies who don't have a data team itself. So that is one. Second is the student ecosystem.
Okay.
That is, I'm training people who are there, who are part of my course, who are learning from me, and they are doing internship as well with me. So that is one uh, pillar, and the third one is recruiters pillar. People who are companies of or recruiters who are looking to hire
Mhm.
uh, resources, they can also be connected to me, and whenever they have such requirement and I know a profile that
Oh,
is ready with me, connect to them. So basically it's a community that I'm trying to build right now. It is just a starting phase right now. I'm mainly focusing on the second one, that is the student one,
mm,
and and I'm doing some projects for the startups. And also if the student is good enough who is working as an intern in the, he can also help in those projects and get some exposure, and finally get ready to get recruited by the, if the same company wants him, the startup wants him, or the recruiters who want a same profile. So basically that is my main structure that I'm thinking right now of. It
mhm.
is a basically an ecosystem of, still no, not, it is still in work in progress because very new, but
Yeah.
finally connecting people
Mhm.
to projects and then projects to
Yeah.
recruitment.
Great idea.
So, yeah, so this is and the services are basically mainly I focus on job, job,
Great. Mm,
not theory. I talk about this a lot, that there are a lot of institutes and a lot of people who are teaching you data science or AI, but no one is focusing on job. So here I'm focusing on the skills that are required. I don't teach complete. I don't, to be honest, I don't teach you everything. I only teach you the things that are important for you to get a job, which are the skills that are required for a person to hire you.
mm.
Other than that, it's up to you now how you take it from there. You want to learn, you have to keep learning every day or some or the other thing and keep updating your skills as well. So that is the whole mantra that I am trying to do it in. Let's see how it goes. Yeah.
Sure, sir. Actually, the idea that you mentioned, right, the three pillars, it's kind of unique. At the same time, it's also important that you have to connect, as you said, with overall the interview. You said you need skills, then projects, then you need to reach out to your recruiter. So it covers everything. So it's really a good idea of creating this ecosystem, and I hope this comes up in a fruitful manner because definitely as a job seeker or as a student we all need support, and this is definitely a great a step ahead for people. So that is all, Archad, I have. It was a great talking to you, great learning from for me and for the viewers. So thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the time. Have a great day.
Thank you. Yeah, have a great day as well. Thank you. Bye bye.